Dr. Amy, and it's time for another Tuesday tip. So it's December, the holiday month. All of the things are happening. And so I want to talk about ways to make your health easier this month. And let's start out with compromises. So I know that all of us in the MTHFR community are going to make compromises with our health this month because it's so busy and there's so much going on and there's holidays and all the things, right? Food with family, it's difficult. But there's a difference between making an outer compromise for an inner value and making an inner compromise that actually hurts you. So here's what I'm talking about, or here's an example of what I'm talking about. So there's a few things that happen at Christmas, right? Now, obviously, I try to live by an MTHFR lifestyle, so I have a pretty particular diet that I follow. Christmas blows all of that out of the water because it's Christmas. Now, that's okay, right? So this month, am I going to eat way more cookies than I would eat in any regular month ever? Yeah, I am. Because you know why? They're amazing. It's like childhood, right? Christmas cookies are the taste of my childhood. And that for me is a soul value. That's a deep, deep value. It is still an outward compromise on some level because I'm making a sacrifice, right, in terms of my health. But it's not an inward compromise because it matches that deep, deep value and it's doing something for me in terms of my soul. Now, we also make a Czech Christmas bread. My father is from Czech Republic, now Czechia. Used to be Czechoslovakia. What the heck? Okay, but side note off. Okay, he's from Czech Republic. And so every year we make something called Vánočka, which is like a Czech Christmas bread. It's so good. It's so good. But I've tried gluten-free with every flour combination that I know of, and it's just not great. It turns into kind of cardboard bread. I don't love it. So the compromise that I make there is I make Vánočka for everybody else, right? But I make it gluten rich and I don't eat it. I still make cookies for me that are gluten free, but it's not worth it to me to make that inward compromise of hurting myself with gluten for that feeling, right? So an outward compromise is where, yeah, sure, you give up something, you make a compromise because real life is full of compromises. They're everywhere. They're all around us all the time. But that inward self-protection, that inward value for you is still intact. If you're doing something that later on you regret and it hurts you and you've given up something that was really valuable to you, that's an inward compromise. And that's the kind we don't want because you didn't really compromise. You sacrificed something of yourself for someone else in a way that didn't bring you any value, right? It wasn't a worthwhile sacrifice. It was a worthless sacrifice. So for me, the worthless sacrifice there would be eating the gluten Vánočka, which I love, but it hurts me, right? And then it makes the rest of the holiday miserable. So that's kind of a simple example on a very small scale, but we do these kind of compromises. We have to negotiate compromises, you know, honestly, hourly, every hour of every day, we're making a compromise about something. And so while you're making these compromises, ask yourself, is it an outer compromise where you're still getting the value, or is it an inner compromise where you're giving away something that really matters, but also not getting anything back? So, health tip of the month? I don't know. That one's a little weird, but think about it, right? Think about it, because the more compromises that you make that protect yourself, protect the inside part of you, the better off your health will be long-term and also mental health, right? This has a lot to do with mental health. So something to think about. See you next week. Bye, guys.